If you've been subscribed to the channel for a while, then you're probably familiar with the 15 random NHL facts series. It's been about 3 months since I've made one of those. I've gotten the itch to do one over the past couple of days, so that is exactly what we are going to do in today's video, but I'm gonna put a little bit of a twist on things. Instead of just the normal 15 random facts about the NHL, the facts in this video are only going to be about the 2021 NHL season, stuff that has happened so far. And instead of just 15, in today's video, we're going to go over 21 facts, of course, because it is the 2021 season. Before we begin, be sure to go follow my social medias like Instagram and especially Twitter. Basically every single night I'm tweeting while watching the games. And most importantly, we are now on the road to 100,000 subscribers, so if this is your first time on the channel and you want more NHL content just like this, be sure to hit that subscribe button, and now let's begin. You guys knew this one was coming, or at least you should have. In last night's win over the Columbus Blue Jackets, Bobby Ryan became the first player in Detroit Red Wings franchise history to score 4 goals within their first 3 appearances with the team. Ryan is absolutely on fire to start the season. He's currently tied for the league lead in goals with only Travis Konecny. He said his goal heading into the season was to show the league that he could still play in a team's top 6, and so far he has done exactly that. In the Toronto Maple Leafs' third game of the season against the Ottawa Senators, Joe Thornton scored his first goal as a Maple Leaf. At 41 years and 198 days old, he is the second oldest player ever to score a goal with the Maple Leafs franchise, only behind Alan Stanley, who was 41 years and 252 days old, and that happened all the way back in 1967. With the New York Islanders defeating the Boston Bruins 1-0 on Monday, goaltender Semyon Varlamov set the record for the longest shutout streak from the start of his season by any goaltender in New York Islanders history, 120 minutes, so 2 games. The record had actually previously been held by Rick DiPietro at 115 minutes and 35 seconds. Following up that previous fact, Semyon Varlamov is also the first goaltender in New York Islanders history to record a shutout in each of his first 2 appearances of a season, and only the 14th goaltender in NHL history to do so. Safe to say, Varlamov is off to a pretty hot start. Starting off a stretch of 3 Minnesota Wild facts, the Wild are actually the first team in NHL history to win each of their first 2 games of a season by overcoming a third period multi-goal deficit. If I'm not mistaken, they trailed the LA Kings 3-1 heading into the third period of each of their first 2 games and wound up winning both of those games in overtime. Karil Kaprizzov, who made a pretty strong first impression in his NHL debut, is the first player in Minnesota Wild history with 3 points in their first NHL game. Following up that previous fact, Karil Kaprizzov is also the very first player in NHL history to record an overtime point in each of his first 2 career games. He scored the overtime winner in his debut and then recorded an overtime assist the following game. Kaprizov sits atop the NHL's rookie scoring race with 4 total points through his first 3 games. The Philadelphia Flyers are one of 4 teams in the past 25 years to have at least one player post 4+ points in each of the club's first 2 games of a season. The other teams are the 1995-96 Pittsburgh Penguins, the 2019-20 New York Rangers, and actually the 2019-20 Detroit Red Wings. That's probably about the only good thing that team did. The New Jersey Devils' 5th round pick from the 2018 NHL Draft, Yegor Sharangovich, became the second player in New Jersey Devils franchise history to score his first NHL goal in overtime. The only other player to do so is actually current Detroit Red Wing John Merrill, who did it back on February 7th of 2014. Sharangovich has actually looked pretty solid through his first 3 games of the season, which has to be a pretty pleasant surprise for the New Jersey Devils considering where they drafted him and considering it was only a couple of drafts ago. Last night, Sidney Crosby scored his 17th career overtime goal to tie Ilya Kovalchuk for 3rd place on the NHL's all-time list. The only players ahead of Crosby on the list are Jaromir Jagr with 19 overtime goals and Alex Ovechkin with 23, so Crosby's got some work to do if he wants to catch Ovi. With the goal last night, Andreas Athanasiou extended his season-opening goal streak to 3 games. The only other players to score in each of their first 3 regular season games as a member of the LA Kings were Wayne Gretzky, obviously, and Bill Lasuk. As a Red Wings fan, I'm really happy to see Athanasiou get off to a good start to this season, considering how miserable the 2019-20 season was for him. In the Anaheim Ducks season opener against the Vegas Golden Knights, Maxime Comtois scored twice in the opening 7 minutes and 58 seconds to become the first Anaheim Ducks player to record 2 goals within the first 8 minutes of a season opening game, and the first player on any team to do that in 15 years. Following up that fact, Comtois would also score a goal in the following game and became the 10th player in the NHL's modern era, which is since 1943-44, to score each of his team's first 3 goals in a season. A couple other players on the list who did it recently: Connor McDavid in 2017-18 and Matthews in 16-17, so that's some pretty elite company. Another Anaheim Ducks fact here: with the Ducks' 1-0 victory over the Wild on Monday, John Gibson required the second fewest appearances by a goaltender to record 20 shutouts with the Anaheim Ducks franchise. It only took him 290 games. The only other goaltender in the Anaheim Ducks franchise history to record 20 shutouts in fewer games is Jean-Sebastien Giguère. It only took him 238 games. The Colorado Avalanche in their second game of the season defeated the St. Louis Blues 8-0, which matched the franchise record for the largest margin of victory in a shutout. It's pretty crazy that the Avalanche lost their first game of the season to the Blues 4-1 and then followed that up by beating them 8-0 in the second game. The NHL can be weird sometimes. The Florida Panthers actually hold the NHL's best points percentage when opening the season at home. That points percentage is .900, having yet to lose a game in regulation over the past 10 contests. Their record over that span is 8-0-2. Now, if only the Panthers would treat every single game in a season like it was their season opening game at home, maybe then they wouldn't be such a disappointing team. But hey, they are off to a pretty good start to this season, currently sitting at 2-0, albeit those games were against the Blackhawks, but still. On Monday, Johnny Gaudreau extended his season-opening point streak to 3 games. He also boosted his career totals versus the Canucks to 8 goals and 20 assists for 28 points in just 29 games, his highest point total against any NHL opponent. This bodes pretty well for Gaudreau considering the Flames get to play the Canucks, like 8 more times this season? On Saturday, in the Senators' second game of the season against the Toronto Maple Leafs, Tim Stutzel scored his first NHL goal, and it was a pretty sick goal, by the way. At 19 years and 1 day old, he is the 3rd youngest Senators player at the time of his first career goal, only behind Alexander Daigle and Pavel Demitra. Both of those guys were 18 when they got there first. In the Hurricanes' season-opening victory over the Detroit Red Wings, Peter Mrazek became the first goaltender in Hurricanes/Whalers franchise history to earn a shutout in the season-opening game. Sorta surprising that it took that long for a Canes goaltender to get a shutout in the season-opening game, but it did, and it had to feel pretty good for Peter Mrazek to do that against his former team. The New York Islanders are the 6th team in NHL history to be involved in 3 straight shutouts to begin the season. They won 2 of those and lost 1. The only other instance in the league's modern era came in 1999-2000 when the Ducks did it. Quinn Hughes of the Vancouver Canucks currently sits at 8 goals and 51 assists for a total of 59 points in 77 games. He just needs 1 more point in the next couple of games to become the first defenseman in more than 27 years to reach the 60-point mark in fewer than 80 games. If I was a betting man, I would say he does it. I'd imagine Quinn Hughes will get at least 1 point in the next 2 games. I guess we'll just have to wait and see though. So that is going to do it for today's video. Those were 21 interesting facts about the 2021 NHL season so far. Shout out to the NHL Public Relations Twitter account. That is where I got the majority of these from. Stuff like this really fascinates me, so let me know if you guys want to see more videos like this. As always, if you did enjoy the video, please be sure to leave it a like. That is the best way to show your support. And most importantly, like I said at the start of the video, if this is your first time on the channel and you want to see more NHL content just like this, be sure to hit that subscribe button, and I will talk to you all in the next video.